Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of For the Hoard of the Dragon Queen. Today's DM will be played by a mime. I don't know, that's really all the miming I can do. And it's not even like a good wall, it's kind of a squishy wall. Like, it's a gelatinous cube. Why don't we do a round of introductions while I get my brain on straight? Why don't we start with Shadow today? Tell us who you are and who you're playing.
Hi everybody, I'm Shadow. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing Vestra, who is an astral guardian barbarian, and just really loves dragons. The end.
The end. Perfect. Adela, who are you playing today, and tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hi. I'm Adela, and I'm going to be playing Aster today, who is a nature cleric who really couldn't care about the dragons, but her family's super into it, so she's a little bit stuck. And she's just nice enough to like go with the flow, but also, not particularly dedicated. Anyway.
Fair enough. Next, let's have Mick.
Oh yeah, I am Mick, and I am playing the drow rogue Chris, who likes to steal pretty much anything that is not nailed down.
And I feel like maybe some things that are nailed down, as long as you can get them unnailed down. But that is for future role. Next, let's do Mika.
Howdy, I'm Mika, and I am playing Lemon Zest, who is a warlock artificer who's really only part of the cult so that he can get his family inheritance. Because his family were very big into the cult. It was a stipulation in their will.
Nice. And even though the cult was the cause of their death, it is still legality.
Well, I mean, it was janitorial who was cause of their death. They were just... They were looking over into the pit. Janitorial came by, accidentally knocked them over because they are kobolds, and they're so tiny,
right?
So hard to see that they just got accidentally knocked over.
These things happen. It is a good question though. The janitorial that was cleaning up at the Well of Dragons, was that a hired service, or are they also members of the Cult of the Dragon? What do you think?
The parents?
Yeah, no, the janitorial service. What? Was it like a Mary
Maids they were
that gets hired,
like sunshine cleaning. So it was they lied, just like sunshine cleaning. Yeah, they lied about being in service for 400 years. Really, they were only 3 weeks old when they were hired. They undercut everyone else for prices.
Because, they're 20 years of experience, but it's all 50 of them each have 6 weeks of experience. It adds up to be 20 years.
Actually, it was like an Ocean's 11 scenario. They were trying to steal. It was a party of adventurers trying to steal from Tiamat is what it was. Yeah. Nice. So they weren't actually a cleaning service.
Nice.
It was darn Harpers.
but their death was still an accident because they just got knocked off by a swinging mop.
Oh, I feel like they deserve their own show now.
Right? That'll be a prequel. All right. I'm Jeremy. I'm gonna be the GM today at some point. Maybe. We'll see. If I go off camera and just hand it off to everyone else, that is also valid. That is how you can D&D if you want to. Okay, so last time you had all rejoined the Cult of the Dragon in a raider camp, an area where they have kind of been using as a central point of sending out raiders to ransack various villages. You were coming from the south. Hey, Miko, welcome in. Oh my goodness, she is so talkative. If she gets to be too much, you just let me know because she can go elsewhere. Hey, Miko just gave you a treat. You should be good. Delivered. Yeah, how dare I suggest her going elsewhere. Totally fair. Totally fair. She's just being extra today. She's like, I don't want to lay down. I want you to pay attention to me. So you had been traveling with a faction, or not a faction, but a splinter cell, let's call it, of the cult as you headed up the high road, and you had sacked a town called Greenest recently, made it to this raider camp to deliver the goods that had been taken. Along the way, you had a run-in with another cult, one of the Beast Lord Malar, a lesser god, not well known in this area, but their reach has gone far across Faerun, and a kind of aging faction of that cult had a mansion that you had been kidnapped, taken into. They were going to hunt you because that's what predators do. Come to find out, you all were not quite so prey adjacent, and had managed to soundly trounce the cultists in return. Also ransacking their house, you had stolen their carriage and their 2 horses and headed to this lovely raider camp where you had met up with your friends that had been missing. You had found Tessa, who'd been kidnapped by Harpers, and brought her along with you to this camp. And in that time that you were in the camp, Aster, you had run into your frenemy, as we're calling them. I don't even say adopted brother, because he's not actually adopted. He just acts like he is. He acts like you are his sister. Barlow had found you in the camp and let you know that your parents wanted to see you. You don't really know much about where your parents are, other than they've been sent on a mission. And they've been worried about you because you haven't checked in, because you were gone for a few days as you were helping to find Tessa and track down these Harpers and etc. So you'd been invited to dinner, which Barlow was having with Frulum and Langdedrosa, which kind of all of you were standing there, and so there was this sudden expectation that all of you would be there. But during the rest of the day, and as the sun set, the camp, particularly the Kobold area of the camp, had caught fire. As you were rushing to help them, this is everyone except for Aster, because Aster is doing something else currently. You were helping the Kobolds, and you realized that the prisoners, particularly of interest, the half-elf that you had captured in Greenest, were missing. Realizing this is probably some kind of distraction, you had found the tracks and followed after the trail that they left behind them, and it led you back to the high road. Kind of losing it there, you did think that they headed south, likely with help. There was a wagon that they had used, and so it seems like they had been rescued by probably some pesky adventurers or something. Heading back to the camp.
Darn cleaning company.
Yeah, that darn cleaning company. Sunshine Cleaning. That's just going to be what the adventure company is called from now on. As you got back to
that's copyrighted. That's copyrighted.
It's spelled differently.
Yeah,
it's
the Sun Coast Clean. Sword
Coast Clean
Sword
Company.
Coast
There we
Clean.
go. Yeah.
We'll get there.
I love it.
Sword Coast Cleaning.
Yeah, Sword Coast Cleaning. As you had returned to the raider camp, you investigate. You had seen. Pretty sure Chris was the one who had seen it. A flash of light, and so you went to investigate what that was, even though it had happened earlier. And in the process, you had run into Willow, who is Aster's Willow's everyone's friend, really, but Aster had been hanging out with Willow, and Willow had told you that Aster had been summoned to Barlow's tent in preparation for the dinner prior to the fire happening. As the fire happened, there was the flash of light, and no one has seen Aster or Barlow since. Concerned for your friend, you had reported to Langdedrosa, let him know that Aster and Barlow were missing. Knowing where they have been, Aster, or Langdedrosa was a little worried about where Barlow may have taken Aster and why. And that's pretty much where we left off. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well then, the music is a little quiet. I'm just going to turn it all the
We'll
way
just
up. No, I'm
reiterate
Go ahead.
that Barlow's the worst.
Right?
We're just going to reiterate that.
So, Adela. Aster had been summoned to meet with Barlow in preparation for this dinner. You got the feeling that this was a conversation that he wanted to have with you that he wasn't comfortable having in front of your friends earlier. This is perhaps a continuation of that conversation. Pub retreat redeemed. And so you, despite your misgivings about Barlow, you decided to head over and discuss with him whatever it is that he felt was needed. I am going to put up an image of Barlow, but I can't do it on that screen, so I'm going to bring it up on this screen. Walking into the tent, you see a fellow who is wearing some rather heavy leathers and furs and such for the climate that you're in. In fact, as you walk in, you can see he's like powdering himself so that the sweat doesn't just like ooze down his face. And he stands and looks at you. Oh, sister, I'm so glad to see you. It's been far too long. I wanted to talk to you about mother and father before, we met with Langdedrosa this evening.
Oh, fabulous. I'm going to reach into my pouch and go in for a really big hug again and smear some more manure on his back. Just patting and like, oh, it's so good to see you, Barlow. Smear.
As you do so, you notice that what you had smeared on previously is gone. Whether it's like he noticed or it just fell off or whatever. And as he pulls back, he kind of like takes you by the shoulders and he looks at you fairly seriously. He says, I'm concerned for mother and father. I know that they're doing their best. I don't know if I should be telling you this, actually. I mean, you are going to see them, so I guess it would be best that you know. They've been sent to the Tower of the Talon to parley with Anabraxis, the leader of, the old version of the cult. Those silly bone dragons and their magic-y undeadness, and they're having a hard time there, and Anabraxis doesn't want to agree to send the allotted amount of treasure that he should. Says it's not required of him, that he's not a part of this cult, that he doesn't give homage to Tiamat, who created him. What kind of silliness is that, right? But I really feel like they they may be in over their heads, and even though he doesn't want to pay or rather, give as he should, he doesn't want to let them go either. And they are taking it in stride. They're doing their best, but I thought I would just give you a heads up before. Do you smell that? And for a moment, you're pretty sure he means the manure you smelled, or you rubbed on him. But then you smell it too. It's fire or something, kind of a thick, smoky, tarry fire smell.
We should probably go check that out. Have you been able to actually visit my parents, or are you getting word from somebody else?
Well, I am staying at the tower with them, but it seems like their time has been rather limited to see me, or really anyone else, and I'm concerned about that. As I'm used to seeing them on a fairly regular occasion, and I don't really know what to do with myself while I'm there and not in their presence.
Well, you know what you could do that would really help? You could
I'm sorry,
Aster's gonna...
are those alarms? Do you hear
yeah,
alarm?
I think I might hear some alarms. I think we should go check on my parents and see what's going on. But also, you might need a hobby. Maybe mom would really want you to knit a blanket for her. That might really mean something to her. She really likes to be warm. Hence the dragons. So
trust
maybe that's
me,
something.
That is definitely a thing that would be useful where we're going.
Fabulous. All right, but let's see what's going on.
I don't think that's the. It sounds dangerous. I don't think that's the best idea. I think we should just go.
No, we should check on the parents. And Aster's just going to turn around and walk the direction of. Can she tell where the fire is coming from?
So it's kind of a like a heavy cloth tent, and so there is a bit of a glow that you can see that's coming through kind of in the direction of the door, a little bit off to the side, but it would be essentially the western edge of the camp as you're heading out.
Okay.
Aster, wait. I really don't think you should go out there. It sounds dangerous, and I if I don't bring you back, they would be absolutely upset with me if I didn't bring you back to see them.
So just leave this without seeing, just without opening the tent, opening the door. Aster's gonna open the door just to see what's going on.
Okay. As you pull the cloth back, you notice that in the distance there is a blaze. It looks like a torch in the night, and you realize, it takes you a moment, but you realize it's the watchtower that you passed getting down in here, and you can see like little figures moving around up in that area as other tents in the area are also starting to light a blaze, and people are scrambling with water buckets to head in that direction.
Ooh. And he's just wanting to kind of boop us to my parents and get out of there.
That's
initially what he's...
Yeah, it seems like that's what he's going for.
Oh, man. That's a rough one because it's parents. You know, Aster's gonna... She loves her parents. I mean, that's why she's even still in the cult. She loves her parents. She may not be about it, but yeah. She's gonna boop. She's gonna boop out of the whole thing to go see her parents.
Okay. He smiles at you and lays a hand on your shoulder and says, "Oh, thank you, Zaxxas." And there's this flash of light, and you realize, having been teleported before, there was a spell set somewhere in the tent that was just waiting for the final word to be said. As there's a flash of light and the cacophony of alerts and people running around, people shouting, instantly disappears. Your ears seem to pop as the light disappears, and you're in this sweltering heat. As you look around, there is this fairly desolate chamber that looks like it's carved of stone, but almost like it's made out to be bone instead. Like there's little bits of detail worked into the stone that make it look like instead of it being carved from rock, it is instead hollowed out bone. There's a large fireplace that is just roaring and you're maybe a few feet from it. And you realize that this fire is set because there's this encroaching cold that comes from just outside the area that you're standing in. You can feel it even though you're this close to the fire. Any part of you that's facing away from the fire has just this like sense of chill to it. Next to you is Barlow, and he looks around and kind of gives a shudder. Not really my liking as far as the accommodations go, but the fire should hold off the chill far enough. Shall we?
Oh, Barlow, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, Aster's just gonna shake her head because she can't believe she left everybody else, but like it's her parents. And also Barlow, at least she knows that Barlow's like, he likes her parents, so he shouldn't technically be leading her astray because he really, really likes them.
Yeah.
But Barlow, gross.
Perfect. So as you step away following him, it does as soon like you get out of that warm envelope that the fire puts out, that heat, and there's just this unnatural chill in the air as you follow him out of the chamber. You get the feeling this chamber is probably his. There are some chests that you recognize that he's traveled with before. There's like a single 4-poster bed instead of like and it's like a smaller one for a single person as opposed to the accommodations your parents would require. So you get the feeling that this is probably his room. He tells you, I was given permission, thankfully, to teleport into the tower directly when I returned. Otherwise, it would be a little bit of a walk. I know the other faction, our faction, of course, our faction, is not they're no longer permitted to teleport into the tower. They have to go outside first. So it's nice that Anabraxis at least has given us this small favor. Have you been to the tower before?
Have I been to the tower before?
It's totally up to you. Have you been to the tower before?
Let's say I have been to the tower before, but it wasn't this dramatic and like in weather and like the coldness and it wasn't so dramatic. It was maybe more pleasant.
Okay. Yeah, you've noticed a lot of the weird cold that you're feeling is something that you would feel when you were kind of like around the undead that kind of serve in the tower, which weren't all that many, and now it just seems pervasive, almost like the living moving out to form the cult as you're now in it seems to have like left this strange void here that the cold has just creeped in and filled.
So I know that it's connected to undead because I felt that before.
You do.
Okay. So would we have like undead maid service or undead, kitchen staff?
Yeah. Previously you wouldn't have. There were living people, and there are still living members of the Cult of the Dragon that follow Anabraxis, but it seems definitely like the undead presence here has grown.
Okay. Barlow, can I ask you, is it easy to get out on foot if we had to? Do you know the way?
Oh, yes, we're currently on the 3rd floor, and I know you've been here before, so I don't want to, act like I'm explaining to you things you already know, but there are, there are hallways here that you could get lost in, but I think for the most part you'd be able to find yourself out pretty quickly.
But also, you personally, you feel confident getting out if you needed to?
Oh, yes, I've been wandering these halls for many weeks now, as your parents have been speaking with Anabraxis.
And my parents, are they being held by a spell, or are they being held by a locked door? Will you share that with me?
Gotta move some dice around here, sorry. Let's see here. Okay, so Barlow gets a grave look on his face and he says, I don't know for sure. I haven't seen any signs that say that they are held by magic. However, if it weren't so, I feel like they would have left by now. I think the parlay has run its course, and they are kind of wasting time at this point. Time that could be used meeting with the other dragons that are supposed to pay tribute. And I just, perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps they are just that set in succeeding here. But I feel like perhaps, yes, they are being held by magic.
Okay. That's good to know. Have you thought about trying to maybe break a spell if they were being held by magic?
I don't know if that's something that I would be able to do.
Arlo, that's nice.
I'm hoping
Arlo,
I'm hoping that you can help me. I know they sent me to find you to come visit them, but I'm hoping you can help me to convince them to leave.
Huh. Okay. Well, let's go find my parents.
Quite. As you head down, there are some hallways that you are somewhat familiar with, having been here before. A lot of the quarters on this level are where visitors come to stay. And so, following him, you pretty quickly realize kind of where you are in the tower, and you're like, oh, there'll be a stairwell up here, and sure enough, you find the stairwell that leads down through the outer wall of the tower. You know that somewhere off to your right, as you're heading through this tunnel, you should be able to find an exit that goes deeper into the tower, and then it would open up into the very large atrium that you can see. It's several stories high and goes down into the main floor. But unless you wanted to jump, the best way down is the staircase that he's leading you to. And he heads down that staircase.
All right. I'm going to follow. I'm just going to follow. Like, this seems shady, and kind of looking for just what I can see. What's different? I just want to try and take a catalog of what I remember and what I'm seeing. And, like, I don't think that was there before.
It's strange because even though, so like there's the cold that just kind of radiates from the stone and lingers in the air, but there's also this weird scent. You would almost call it dust. It smells dusty, except for you don't see any signs of dust. There's none hanging in the air. There's none on the floor. It's this weird kind of... I feel like with your nature experience, you might get the sense that it smells almost like bone.
Okay. Yeah. Like a ground up bone and a little
Yeah.
thing for a spell. Sure. Okay. Yeah, let's follow Barlow. Let's go find the parents and
Okay.
see what we can see.
So as you head down the stairs, you remember them being well lit, and now they are much darker. There are still like magical lights every so often, but it almost seems like this has all been let go. Like if the lights go out, kind of like bulbs. If the magical lights burn out, they're not replacing them. And so every so often it shifts into an area where like Barlow pulls out like a small object and he says a magic word and it kind of lights up. So he has like some kind of enchanted object that has light on it, and it seems like he can turn it on and off. It looks a lot like a the older symbol of the cult of the dragon instead of the newer Tiamat head, and so you're not really sure where he got it. But as he walks down, he's able to make sure he doesn't stumble in the dark. Even though you can see using your magic, you're able to see in the dark. He does not appear to be able to do that, and so must rely on his normal vision. So summons the light to see, and you end up down on the first floor. And as you step out into this large atrium, you do see people walking around. Most of them are wearing robes and are like heavily covered, heavily obscured from your sight. You see drakes, much like the ones that you have been traveling with, that are like kind of like the guard drakes or the hunting drakes. They're like small wingless dragons. However, these are either very sickly or perhaps undead, as their flesh is withered and the skin is pulled taut. And you do see skeletons wandering around. Some of them are cleaning. Some of them are carrying various things, whether they're books or chests. And most of the ones that are carrying things are following behind the robed figures.
Cool.
Cool.
I feel like Aster loves all like living things, and has a respect for dead and undead, and like there's purpose for all the stuff. So it's just gonna be like, this actually seems a little bad that it's so undead. There's at least some versatility before. There's the more like inclusivity, and now it's mostly all. That's gonna bother Aster a bunch. Yeah, let's go find the parents.
Yeah.
She's gonna find her parents.
So Barlow's looking around, kind of, it looks like he's looking for them perhaps, or just trying to catch someone's attention, and he ends up catching this robe figure's attention. Excuse me, could you tell us where the emissaries are? Just trying to find them. And you notice as this robe figure looks up, a living person is underneath the robes, but very thin, emaciated, looks very almost like hunger has drained their life, as far as their vitality. But there's this strange heat in his eyes, like this almost crazed look. It just lingers right at the edge of his eyes. The emissaries, I have not seen them. They must be down in the meeting chamber. Barlow nods. Oh, thank you. And he just steps quickly away.
It all seems bad, Barlow. It all seems bad. That was a shady encounter. Do you understand
I'm
this?
sure it's fine. I'm sure it's going to be fine.
No, no, it's not fine. Let's maybe be a little more stealthy when we go find my parents.
Oh, okay. I mean, we have to go in. There's a stairwell, and he points out, and in the center of this atrium is this large. It looks like a seal, essentially, like the kinds that are like they're put into floors. They're usually decorational, but this one, is actually a door. This seal is constructed to look like bones laying over each other, just like this spiral of bones, and you would know that it pulls to the side. It like opens up, and Anabraxis's like actual living area is below the tower. You haven't been
seem like
down.
A stealthy way to get in,
right? And there is like for smaller people, there are some stairwells, but they also do have these seals over them that must open. So it would definitely be something that is difficult to go down without being seen or noticed.
Sure. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and do it. We're just going to go ahead and just walk on in.
Okay. As you move
with
through
our
this...
Tiamat behind us.
Praise Tiamat. Praise Tiamat. As you head through this large chamber, you do notice some of the drakes that kind of snuffle at you, almost like they forgot what living smells like. And you get this like kind of sense of worry that even though you're used to the drakes that are with the cult that you're traveling with, they know your scent, and they are rather cuddly, actually, for the most part. There are some that are kind of standoffish, kind of like cats, but for the most part they're pretty okay with you, whereas these seem a little more dangerous.
Maybe before I would scratch one on the head, but now I'll just kind of walk by and give side eye and get on past.
Okay. As you head out into the center, just before the main seal, you notice, and you would remember this as you see it as well, there are 4 seals that are spread around at varying points of the compass, essentially. Each of these are smaller seals, and Barlow moves forward, says a word, and you notice as it spins and like opens like an iris, and below is a spiral staircase that leads down into the dark.
All of this seems super bad, and like I should have my friends with me. But we're gonna go down that suitcase or that stairwell anyway.
Okay. As you descend into the dark, why don't we head over and see what your friends are doing? So back at the camp, you've met with Langdedrosa. You've let him know that Aster was taken by Barlow. He's expressed some concern over this, and he expressed that there was probably a way that they could send you fairly quickly to the Tower of the Talon. However, he's not really sure the reception you're going to receive, and you're no longer allowed to teleport into the tower itself. It's going to be a little bit of a hike. Not too far, but he actually tells you, he's like, I feel like they chose the location of the teleportation circle just at the right point where the tower looks the most formidable. I'm not saying they were being ostentatious. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. I feel like They were just doing it for effect. So you'll have a little bit of a walk, and it's not a given that they're going to let you in.
Okay.
But we can't make that a given. There's like not like a skeletal badge or something that you can give us.
Let me check. I'll see if anyone has one of the old symbols. Is there anything else that you... Oh, go ahead.
Wait, am I the only spellcaster here?
Chris has magic. Chris, don't you have magic?
I've got a little bit of magic.
Do you have illusion magic?
I do actually. Let's see. I have. How many does this work on?
Some psychic paper would be great right now.
What's that?
Some psychic paper would be great right now.
Right?
Like in Doctor Who, yeah.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
I have.
Have you seen the newest
silent-
episode?
Yeah.
Oops.
Minor illusion.
Not what I meant to click, but I have nothing to see here and silent image.
Okay.
I guess silent image is like the only illusion out of those two.
Okay. So is there anything that you all feel like you need or that you want to do before you are sent to the Tower of the Talon?
No.
Level up.
I mean, for-
no.
Best try. Yeah, no. Just wanted to double check if they had something to make it easier to get in.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got nothing, as far as I can tell.
All right. So
Here are the spells if you wanted to see them.
I
as
change my artificer infusion.
you want to do that before you leave?
Yeah, technically I have to do it after a long rest, so never mind.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So,
we've got a bag of holding again.
yay! If you need a grenade.
Unless I change that for... Oh! I know what I could have done. Nope, we don't have the time for it. One of the infusions I took is a spell rot tattoo. So if there was like a first level illusion spell, I could have put that on the tattoo. But we don't have the time. Let's
I mean,
go.
when do you want to head out? That's really up to you. You were, for what it's worth, you are pretty sure that it has been at least a few hours since Aster disappeared.
That could be good. I can look at my spells again. But also, I don't want to do that part on stream. Hold on. Let me look at spell rat tattoo first level. So I guess that'd be a first level spells. First level illusion spells 5e.
While you're
Who's that?
deciding.
Spells for Dungeons and Dragons on D&D Beyond. Sorry, I
So-
don't need to be saying all this out loud. Minor
There's some
illusion,
advanced cobalt tattoo artists. They can hammer it out within like 30 minutes, you know?
Right.
Chris, you have minor illusion though, right?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll just do that.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll do that.
So as you're all preparing, you notice Langdedrosa is returning. He seems to be empty-handed. Does not have any kind of badge to give you, but there is a bald fellow wearing bright red robes, and he has tattoos on his head. And as they approach, every so often Langdedrosa just kind of like side-eyes him, in that, you know, dragons have eyes kind of like over here, so he can like really side-eye him hard. And he stops and he says, this is Asbara Joss. He is going to be traveling with us. And you just get the feeling, I'm not even going to have you do a roll for this. You get the feeling Langdedrosa is not super into this fellow. But he does have a way to perhaps help you get inside without being noticed. You just have to be willing to not make yourselves known until you are within the walls. He can make you invisible for a time. You would only have an hour, and you can't take any actions that would reveal yourself, or the magic will break.
Ah, okay. Well, thank you, your robidness. That is very useful.
Asbara Joss is a little intimidating, actually. Like, first of all, tattooing your head, that's hardcore right there. Second, like, he's just very sure of himself, and that really just kind of exudes from his person. And he looks down at all of you, except for Chris. Chris is about the same height. Yes, you're quite welcome. I do hope that this will help. I know that the remnants of the old cult are being problematic for you. I also hear that they might be working with the Thayans. And it seems like he has a hard time saying it that way. Sorry, my brain just turned off. Hang on. It's right there.
You got it. Start it up.
It's right there. It's out of gas. Needs more coffee.
That's true.
All right. The undead Thayan. What's his name? Anybody?
His last name was Josh.
Sastam. Sastam is the leader of he is the lich that leads Thay. You do know that actually, everyone make me a history check except for Adela, because Adela's not here.
History. $15.
Nice. So Chris is a little muddier on the history for this country of Thay. But Lemon Zest and Vestra, you know that they were like this kind of united front for the longest time, and then Zastam kind of overthrew the Council of Red Mages that like governed everything, made a bunch of skeletons. He's now a lich, etc., etc. But you do know that there are Red Wizards of Thay that are just as nationalistic as Sastam is, but not so into being undead, and so they've kind of splintered. You get the feeling, in the way that this Asbara Joss fellow says it, that he is not one of the undead folk. One, he doesn't look that way. Two, he has a little bit of like he's off-put, that perhaps Anabraxis might be working with Thay. as though that... Actually, do me an insight check. Perfect. Perfect. Got a 4. Yep.
That's like one of my good skills too.
Oh. Nice 3.
He also got a 4.
Yeah.
4 minus 1.
Ooh-wee.
We're so good at reading people.
Yeah, he's hard to read. He's really hard to read.
Is it the face? Is it like the head tattoos?
It's the head
or-
tattoos. You keep looking at the head tattoos instead of like the expression, and so it totally passes you all by with your 4, 3, and 3. Oh, sorry, your 4, 4, and 3. Hey, get those rolls out now. Get those out now. So yeah, he says he's a little concerned about that, and where was I going with this? After I derailed into all of this side lore. Whenever you're ready, I can send you, or we can send you to the teleportation circle that they have erected outside the tower. However, again, you can't take any actions. You just have to move silently.
Yeah, we're good at that, right, Chris?
I feel like Chris is.
Yeah, I am, at least.
I now have disadvantage on my stealth because I upgraded my armor.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you also have advantage thanks to chat.
Hooray.
Ooh. Thank you, chat.
I could also... I guess if we're gonna be invisible, we don't need to use...
Yeah.
I don't need to use that spell, so...
Yeah, when we're invisible, no one can touch us at all. Yeah, there's no way that they can know that we're there.
Just remember, it will only last an hour.
Okay, so we have to like speed run it. Okay.
Gonna speedrun Elden Rings. It'll be fine. Alright, so...
I have very little faith in us, team. I'm sorry.
Don't be like that, Lemon Zest. We can do it. I mean, we have Tiamat behind us after all.
Right. But I mean,
5 heads are better than 1.
I'm just gonna pet Lemon Blossom.
Well, if you're all ready, Asbaro will take you to the circle. I have things to do elsewhere. Says
Okay.
Langdedrosa, sorry.
Oh, wait, here. And then, Vestra's gonna rummage around in, like, her pockets, and pull out one of the candies that Aster made. It might have a little bit of lint on it, but, you know, she's gonna give that to Langdedrosa. This is for you. We'll get Aster back, and then we'll have plenty of candies again.
He'll put it in his pocket. Thank you. He heads off, and Asbaro just kind of sweeps his hand forward and points you back towards the main tent where you had seen him. Now that you can see him fully, you realize he is the Red Wizard that you had been meeting with, Resmir and I almost called her Moulin Rouge. Frulim. With Frulim and Langdedrosa. And you, as you get closer, you notice that there are sigils that are kind of like worked into the dirt, but they seem permanent, like they've been filled with metals and such. And from behind you, you hear, wait, hang on, and like a running noise.
Vestra turns around.
You see Tesha, who is carrying her helmet under one arm, like running to catch up with you. I'm gonna go with you. I'm not getting left behind this time.
Well, part of me wants to say that maybe you should stay here and carry on the good work, but I mean, if you really want to come along, who am I to stop you?
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like, we need to stay together as a team, Team Dragon. And, I don't... Last time we split up, I did get kidnapped, and maybe that wasn't really the best. So, where you go,
Well, yeah,
I'm going with you.
We only split up because you got kidnapped. It wasn't really your fault. It was more those pesky Harpers getting in the way, like they always do.
It's true, but you did when we were back in Greenest, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna rock paper scissors to see if I go with that group, or you, and you were like, cool, and then I lost and ended up having to go with that other group. Still not really sure how that worked out, but anyway, and then they just kind of let me get kidnapped. It wasn't like their choice, but they weren't paying attention, and I even yelled at them. I'm like, hey, I'm being kidnapped, and they're like, too busy looting houses and stuff. Anyway, I feel safer with you.
Yeah.
Team Dragon.
I mean,
Team
I
Dragon.
wouldn't, but
Team Dragon. Yeah, Lemon Zest, Chris, can Tesha come with us?
As long as they don't give him away, and we don't have to protect them from anything.
Oh no, I shouldn't need to be protected anymore. I am a Dragon Claw now, just like all of you.
Yeah.
And she puts on her helmet, which appears to have been refitted. She can actually put it on and see out of its eye holes.
okay.
Yeah, Team Dragon.
All right, Team Dragon. We are the 5 heads of the dragon.
All right, I assume you're all ready to be teleported then.
Yes.
Yes.
As Bara leads you into the circle, and he begins chanting, and as he does, you notice this strange sensation, kind of like this weird effervescence that fills you as you notice the people next to you disappear. You can still see yourself, but you can't see the people next to you. And then he will teleport you. And there's a strange sensation, almost like being dropped off of a hill. No one really goes fast enough to know what it feels like to go over a speed bump. So it's like that sudden sense of falling, and the area around you disappears and reappears. You reappear at the foot of this hill. This hill is kind of behind you, and as you turn, you look, and on the top of the hill is what looks like this massive talon or fang structure. Its shattered top looks unintentional, although you know that it is intentional, as to represent the broken talon of Asbara. Too many A names. Anabraxis. It looks like this dragon talon is just rising out of the earth, and around you is this desert. The desert itself has this kind of purplish hue to it. It's this very strange, almost alien look from places that you're typically used to, but the red rock that rises out of it, and then the white stone of the tower rising above you is maybe familiar to some of you, those of you who are in the cult long enough, but I feel like for Vestra, this is definitely the first time you've been to the Tower of the Talon. What do you do?
We're currently invisible.
You can see yourselves, so it's kind of you're having that kind of disconnect of, am I invisible? I can see my hand. Does that make me invisible? I don't know. But you can't see your teammates. You can't see Lemon Zest or Lemon Blossom. You can't see Tesha or Chris.
Oh my god, this is great.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, Vestra, who's never been invisible and has never been to this area, is out loud is like, oh, I can see myself, but I can't see anybody else. Am I invisible? Am I visible? She'll probably just stand there and do that for a few minutes, honestly.
Tesha would be all like, well, I can't see you, but I can see myself. Can you see me?
Oh my god, Tesha, is that you? And then she's gonna like put out her hands and like walk forward.
No, over here. Can't you see me? Oh, wait. And she can't see you either. Never mind.
Okay, wait. What is the ground? The ground we're standing on? Is it like dirt, gravel? Like, is it stone?
So you're actually, the teleportation circle itself is stone. It seems to have been placed into this area of kind of purplish sand, and so it has like a dusting of purple over it. But as you step through it, there are little like slight impressions that you're leaving behind. But
okay. I think Vestar will like take her axe, war hammer, and we'll just take like the pommel side of it, and we'll just like drag it on the ground and like draw like a circle around herself. Okay, I'm inside this circle.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were at all. And you'll see some very like small footsteps like pad towards you, and then you feel hands kind of like bump into you. Oh,
yeah.
There you are.
This is fun.
This is fun.
Yeah. This is not how I thought invisibility would work when it was a group of us. Wait, are the others here?
Oh.
Hello?
I don't know. Where are you?
I'll say hello.
Oh, Chris, is that you? I'm inside the circle. That's where I am. I don't know where you are.
I haven't moved, so I'm also inside the circle.
Oh, okay, great.
Where's Lemon Blossom? Lemon Blossom, where are you?
Are you?
There is like a sound of metal moving next to you, like that kind of like creaking as Lemon Blossom turns towards your voice, but you don't see anything.
Okay, I'm assuming that's where you are.
Okay, so we have to coordinate somehow, and get inside, but not lose each other. So, how about I go first? I'll drag the pommel of my warhammer on the ground that leaves like a little marking, and then everybody can follow.
I mean, that works for me.
Unless somebody else has a better idea.
But wouldn't that draw attention if we come across someone?
Good point. Maybe one of us should have been visible. Okay, well, I guess we know where we're going, so how about we just walk down this pathway until we get to the main entrance and then meet inside, I guess. Like on the other side of the main entrance.
That sounds good to me.
Let's do this, Team Dragon.
Team Dragon.
Team Dragon.
So from here, you can see that there is a worked path that heads uphill, kind of wraps around the hill and leads up to the tower itself. Or you can scale the hill. It's rocky as opposed to being like a cliff. So it would take a little bit of work as opposed to just kind of strolling up, but What would you prefer to do? Whoa.
Uh-oh. You okay? Oh no.
Can everyone see each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tech kerfuffles. Which way would you prefer to go?
Yeah. Okay, so student visa appointment verification.
The
Okay, so that
path, which the pathway that looks like everybody usually goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you head up it, you're kind of dragging the pommel of your hammer, and the path is actually pretty worn and is more of this like kind of red stone, reddish stone, and for a moment you're worried that they're not going to be able to see where you're going, but there is enough of this kind of like purple dust that has blown over it that the rest of you do manage to see just faintly this line that's drawn through the dust.
I feel like once we get kind of closer to like where people would expect it to be, I'll stop dragging my hammer because Chris brought up that good point about being a little more covert.
Okay. As you round the corner and can see the entirety of the tower itself, you notice that moving around the base of it are dozens of bone creatures, skeletons of various humanoids, drakes, some other creatures such as dogs. They are kind of milling about. Some of them seem to have a little more purpose than others. Some are just standing still. Not really sure what their purpose is.
Chris, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, so there's like skeletons that are patrolling, I think. Do you see like a better way in?
Oh, could I look for a better path in?
Sure, go ahead and make a perception check.
Let's see. I am trained in perception, so
Come on, not a 3.
oh, it wasn't a 3.
It wasn't a 3. Looking at what lies before you, it's even like if you had come up the side, there are still like skeletons over there. What they're doing, you're not really sure. Like, are they guarding? You're not, I mean, they're just kind of standing around. So you don't see a more valid path other than walking up to the tower from where you are.
Okay. I don't know why that popped up, but
That's right. We can at least tell that your dice will roll over 5. What do you want to do?
I will relay that information to the rest of the team.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can just sneak past them. I think we'll be fine.
Okay, sounds like a good plan. Yeah, so Vestra at least starts going towards them to sneak past.
Okay. Well, then why don't we do a group stealth check? Go ahead and roll for Lemon Blossom as well.
Okay, lemon blossom.
And remember, you do have Lemon Blossom, Lemon Zest, we'll call them together, has an advantage should you want to use it. Amazing Vestra. I love it. I love it. Natural 1.
Lemon
It's
blossom.
doing so good. So
Lemon
good.
blossom got a 19 without advantage.
Nice.
No, what I meant to do. Well, that's my first roll. My second roll.
Okay.
Right, those are my advantage rolls.
Perfect. So the 5 of you, technically, begin to work your way through, not really understanding where each other are, but at the same time trying to sneak through these skeletons while also trying to track where each other are. But the purple dust that was below doesn't seem to really settle this high, and so following footsteps doesn't really appear to be very helpful or anything like that. At one point, Vestra, Tesh actually runs into you, and there's a little bit of like, oh, excuse me. And nearby, you notice what you're pretty sure was a drake. There are little bits of green scale still adhered to the bones and like dried flesh. It stops. It was kind of like walking around aimlessly, apparently. And even though it doesn't appear to have lungs or an actual like snoot, you can hear it sniffing the air. It starts walking towards you.
Would I, being the dragon nerd I am, have any knowledge about drakes?
So you know that drakes are lesser dragons. And you actually have traveled with some of the drakes that the living cult has. So yes, what kind of information would you like?
Like a little bit about like how intelligent they are and like what they're like do they have like a keen sense of smell, you know? Like, would this thing be easy for me to trick, or am I going to take a different path?
They're going to have you do a roll because this is an undead one. Let's do a roll for that. And you joined the cult after the splinter happened, after the new cult became a thing. So go ahead and do either a nature or arcana. I will give you a history if that's better, because perhaps you've read about these in the history of the Cult of the Dragon or something like that. Either way,
they're all the same.
crap. It was a crap roll. You're really not sure if it acts like the drakes that you are used to. You know, they do love food, and a lot of the times they are like big cats where they're very, you know, either snuggle me or rub my belly and then I will eviscerate you kind of thing. So, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Vestra is going to try to like shimmy around it. As it's like sniffing the air and it's like walking one way, Vestra's going to try to like sidestep it to go the other way.
Okay. Why don't you do let's call it a dex check.
Okay, that's better. there was a better roll for a 16.
Nice. It stops right where you were, and you can hear it sniffing the air there, and it turns its head a little towards you, a little away from you. Oh, actually, hang on. And you notice that it turns away from you and starts moving kind of off to your left. Remember, that's where you heard Tesha's voice.
Is there like any like little rocks on the ground or anything?
There are, yeah. There's like little fragments of this red rock kind of everywhere.
Would I think that like taking an action to reveal where I am would include tossing a rock a few feet away as a distraction?
That doesn't seem like an action that would do that, but how much do you know about magic? Do an Arcana check.
So
I know nothing about magic.
If we want to cause a distraction, we can whisper amongst ourselves. If you cast magic, that dispels invisibility, right? Because I have a feature, so it's not a spell. My magical tinkering, I can make a rock make noise and then throw it. I can do an up to 6-second long recorded message, so I can make like the first 3 seconds nothing, give me enough time to toss it and then have it make a big noise, or an odor or something, or so I'm embedding this magical property, but it's not technically a spell.
Right.
Would that get rid of my invisibility?
I feel
Sorry,
like it
can you
does.
hear that? Can you hear that behind me?
It's okay. It does because it does create essentially like a very like minor illusion kind of effect. I feel like that is kind of action-y. Is it? Does it say? Yeah, we're gonna call it. It would probably set this off just because it does recreate other spell effects. The tossing the stone probably wouldn't, but like imbuing a stone with magic probably would. So if you want to toss a stone, Vestra or Lemon Zest or whoever, that is a thing.
Vestra is internally is like, oh man, like, oh no, not Tesha. And Vestra's like, no, Tesha's smart enough. Tesha would know to keep moving. I have faith. So Vestra's gonna keep moving. Is gonna keep going towards an entrance and just secretly hope to herself that everything's okay.
Okay. Is there anything that Chris or Lemon Blossom or Lemon Zest are doing?
I'm just gonna watch and see how all of this unfolds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Lemon
can't
Zest
cast
can't
any
do
spells,
anything.
so
Yeah.
otherwise I would use minor illusion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so the group of you do notice this skeletal drake heads over, like changes its course pretty obviously, heads over, stops, is like sniffing the air, turns and starts heading another direction, and it just keeps walking that way. Vestra, you're going to continue on towards the door. As you're getting closer, you do see that there's essentially this door that's been carved out. It almost looks like the stone itself was like carved out and then replaced as the door. So it very much seems almost seamless. But as you get closer, you can see the seams of the door. The door is ajar. It's not fully open, or rather, they're like kind of like large gates that would swing in and out. It does appear that they are somewhat open, and you can see every so often a figure will like move in or out, whether it's a skeleton or a robed figure.
Is it open enough for me to slip inside, or would I have to open it more to slip inside?
No, it does look like you could just walk through it. In fact, it looks
Okay.
like a large creature could step through it.
Okay, yeah, I will walk through it, like try to still stealthily walk through it, and then we'll find like a place immediately like inside the door that's like maybe like a little alcove or like somewhere where I could easily wait for the others that I can't see, but
Sure,
that was the
sure.
plan.
Yeah, so you step inside, and like as you get closer, it gets colder and colder. Like there is a obvious emanation that comes off the tower that is colder, that seems to push away the heat of the desert around you. And you step in, and your eyes adjust pretty quickly to the dark around you, and you look up, and there is a massive blue dragon, or the skeleton thereof, that seems to be like holding that wall up. And you look across, and there is a green dragon that seems to be mirroring it, not necessarily in its exact movements, but is also appearing like it holds that wall up. And you realize that these skeletons were likely once actually alive and have been worked into the structure itself. And within like the nooks of the blue dragon, you could easily hide.
Vestra definitely lets out like a tiny little like squee of excitement that like cannot help it. Just a tiny little ee.
You do notice as you're like kind of slipping into the alcove, the hallway before you does continue on. There are some more skeletal figures that are holding up the sides on either side. And you notice light at the end, like sunlight is pouring down into what looks like a larger room beyond. Make a perception check for me.
I can perceive things, most likely. Yeah, I can perceive things.
Okay. As you are hanging out there, you hear, even though she's being very quiet, you hear a very, very silent, almost inaudible squee. As Tesha also is extraordinarily excited to be here and can't quite hold in her exclamation of excitement.
The pummel of my warhammer probably still has some of that purple powder dust residue stuff on it.
Okay.
So Vestra's just gonna draw a little X on like one of the flagstones on the floor of like, this is where I am.
Okay. Chris and Lemon Blossom, you are entering through the gate, unless you are not entering through the gate. You tell me.
I'm entering through the gate.
Okay. Lemon Zest is typing on his magical keyboard.
Okay, there's a pause. Same. Following.
Okay.
Yes.
So the two of you enter. Go ahead and make perception checks.
Alright.
I sort of love that you're frozen with this like thoughtful, wistful look on your face. It's pretty great on my screen, at least.
Nice roll, Lemon Zest. Was the 13 your current roll?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So as you're moving through, Chris, you head in and you can see these skeletal dragons holding up this hallway. You notice that there is the large atrium at the end. Sunlight is pouring down into it. You don't notice any of your fellows, except for you can hear just slightly the grinding of metal that Lemon Blossom can't help but make. So you feel like maybe Lemon Zest and Lemon Blossom are nearby, but you don't notice anything else. Lemon Zest, you do look down and you see, in just the weirdest shade of gray, there is this like arrow, kind of X-shaped arrow pointing towards this nook of the blue dragon's leg.
Wait, okay, so an arrow pointing to a dragon's leg?
Yeah.
An actual dragon?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a skeletal dragon.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of like set against the wall and looks like it's holding up the wall, and you just notice this arrow that's pointing. Yeah.
I don't attack it now.
Roll for initiative. What do you do?
Avoid it.
Okay.
Well, I guess so. It's just. Is it living, or is it just like a?
It is
cool
skeletal, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything
living.
here.
It's an undead creature.
Yeah, it's not moving.
Okay. I guess I ignore it. There's not much I can do.
Okay. What do you two want to do?
I mean, I'm probably just gonna follow the sounds of the lemon blossom.
Okay.
That's my only guidance currently.
Where's Lemon Zest heading?
Is all of our stuff invisible to you? Like, can I pull out a rope and try to?
Until you let go of it, it is also invisible. Once you let go of it, you can't then pick it up and have it become re-invisible. It would be a floating rope.
Huh. So we can rope ourselves together.
Yep.
I'm going to pull out like a small piece of chalk or something. Okay, I mean, technically, do I have chalk? Probably not.
It's like, these are things that the player knows.
But, you know, like, just kind of like see if I can like tap or like mark the wall.
Sure.
Try and get Chris's attention.
What do you mark it with? Are
Just
you
so
like,
he can follow
Chris, can you see this? Or are you
just,
like
try and get like, if I can, I guess, can I roll like perception or something? Or like with my natty 20, can I tell that like Chris is...
Oh, yeah, you
I
probably
noticed-
hear, with that natural 20, you get the feeling that someone is nearby, and you've been adventuring with, or you've been traveling with Chris long enough that Chris is taller than Vestra is, and Lemon Blossom is much heavier than Chris is. So you're pretty sure those footsteps that you could barely perceive are probably Chris.
I'm gonna have Lemon Blossom. So I mentioned I can hear Lemon Blossom a little bit, so I'm gonna have like Lemon Blossom walk with me over to a wall. How would I do that? I feel like how do I command Lemon Blossom without?
I mean, you could just
Isn't it
whisper.
really specified if it's like psychic? Is that... Yeah, I'm like, oh, over here, Lemon Blossom. And like, yeah, I'd go over to a wall and like try and mark it with like a little arrow with like a piece of chalk or something.
Okay.
Or like scrape a pebble against the wall, so, you know, that'll create a little white.
Chris, go ahead and do a perception with advantage, since you've been following the quiet sounds of Lemon Blossom's. You do hear Lemon Blossom moving away, but you don't see the chalk lines start to appear.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that obvious, and with your dark vision, because it's not like really lit here, it kind of gets lost.
Well, I will keep following the sounds of Lemon Blossom.
Okay. Lemon Zest, you're not really sure where anyone else is besides Lemon Blossom.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold on to Lemon Blossom and keep going.
Okay. Keep going down the hallway.
Yeah, keep going down the... I guess, yeah, I don't know where to go.
Okay.
Other than down the hallway.
All right, so you continue down the hallway. You kind of have a hand on Lemon Blossom. Chris is following the sounds of Lemon Blossom. Why don't we have Vestra make a perception check?
Okay. Perception. Okay. It's going great.
Natural.
Natural one. Yep.
So your 4 gets you kind of an unnerving feeling as you're sitting there, and there's like this cold kind of seeping in from the walls and the skeleton. You don't hear Tesha any longer. You don't hear Chris or Lemon Blossom or Lemon Zest pass you. No one is like followed your arrow. Several minutes go by.
At that point, Vestra would just whisper Tasha into like the little alcove, and like if there's a response, we'll like respond back. But if not, Vestra's just gonna be like, well, everyone would know where to go. Like we're all experienced adventurers here. So Vestra's gonna walk towards the sunny light alcove part area because that's where people must be.
Okay. So as Lemon Blossom and Lemon Zest and Chris head down the hallway, every so often you hear this like little giggle, and it seems to be coming from like ahead of you, but you don't see any signs of anyone making the noise. You're pretty sure it's Tesha though. Like it sounds familiar enough that you would understand it. That is her. And then you come to the opening. Essentially, this hallway that's held up by the bones of these dragons opens into this large atrium. The atrium is sunlit. You notice that there are windows higher up that are allowing sun to stream down onto the floor. There are people milling about. They don't seem to be quite as aimless as those outside, although you do notice some skeletons, whether they be humanoid or drake, that are walking kind of like the perimeter. But the others seem to be going to and fro from places. You do notice that there's a large seal in the middle of the floor that you know is like essentially a door that goes down into Anabraxis's lair. It can be opened with mechanisms that do so. And there are smaller seals around that. One of them is open. The other three are closed. In the open one, you can see very, very, like, just kind of a sliver of what's inside. You do notice that there is a staircase that goes down. Everyone else is just kind of doing their thing. As far as no one seems to be paying attention to you, so they don't notice. They can't see through your invisibility, for example. No one has heard you. What do you do?
Okay, so what's around us right now?
You're in you're exiting from this hallway into like the main atrium of the tower.
I feel like I need some kind of hint.
I think there was like a door that was like a little bit ajar or something that you could see through like into like another room or hallway.
So like
Right.
in the center, there's like the big door that goes down into Anabraxis's chamber. You did see that there's a smaller doorway that is open that also leads down. You're not sure where that goes, having never been down there yourselves. I feel like you would hear a whisper. It's asked. Chris. Anyone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you made it. Well,
Yeah.
wait, hang on. I want to follow your voice. You kind of hear this like kind of shuffling step, and then a fairly louder. Where's Vestra?
I don't know.
What about Chris?
I don't know. I know Blossom is right next to me.
So do I hear this conversation? Or...
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'll just be like, I'm right here.
Oh. Okay. Do you know where Vestra is, Chris?
No, I've been following the sounds of the shifting metal from Lemon Blossom.
That's really good thinking. I heard her earlier, but then they were just gone, and so I'm not really sure where Vestra went. I wonder if she's like already in somewhere looking for Aster.
Possibly. But how would they know?
Oh, that's a good question. Have either of you been here before?
Long time ago.
Do you know where people like? I guess, do you know where people do things? Like where do people like live here, or where would Barlow have taken Aster?
Can I roll history?
Sure. Actually, the question is, will roll 20 allow you to roll well for history? 23 is amazing.
Yep.
So it has been a minute, and really, even though they were members of the cult, your parents weren't like really like actively here a lot. However, you have been here a few times with them as they were like bringing offerings, or doing what the cult did back in the day, and you know that like the kind of like the lower levels are all like guest quarters and such, whereas higher ones tend to be the quarters where the cultists themselves used to live. Now, with it being largely abandoned, you're not quite as sure. However, you also know that the ground floor has rooms around the edge of it that are like laboratories, and where foods were stored, and kitchens, and all the things that make essentially a keep work. Below you know that there are chambers where people also did things, but you're not really sure what those were.
Can you repeat that last part? Shadows? I don't know what
There are other chambers below the main floor that you're not really sure what happened down there.
Okay. So knowing... So probably... Okay. Alright, I can't relay this information to the others.
Okay. Well, that's maybe problematic. That's a lot of options. I don't know. And Vestra, about this time, you can hear this conversation as you're like creeping up on it.
Oh, good. Everyone's here.
Oh my! I'm trying to think of a curse that a dragon person, like dragon cult person, would use. Oh, by the 5 heads of Tiamat. I might have wet myself a
By
little.
Tiamat's second left head.
Not the most left, but the second left.
Sorry. But
Did
yeah,
you find her?
Well, no, but I found all of you.
Yay!
Okay, so, dinner. They were having dinner, right? Is there a dinner hall?
Well, we were supposed to
Or-
have dinner with Dang Drosa and Frulum, and that got canceled
fair.
because we're here now.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Lemon Zest. I think you were deciding where to go when I came in.
Yeah, they'd probably be in like fancier rooms, which are that way. And I point, forgetting that they can't see where I'm pointing.
Oh, over there?
No, over there.
Right, over there.
Or just follow the sound of my voice.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Or I guess I could just give a landmark. So over there by that. Whatever is over there.
Where does Lemon Blossom have a tail? And you can hear like a hand reach out and like kind of thunk against Lemon Blossom, and then slide over the metal of his surface. Does he have a tail?
Yeah,
Oh, he does have a tail. Awesome.
sure. Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang on to this. Vestra, you hold on to my other hand. And you can't see where this hand is.
No, just walking forward with my hands out.
Okay. You end up running into... Actually, make a perception check.
Perception.
Perfect. You run into Lemon Blossom. There's a slight hollow bong of metal against whatever... What kind of armor are you wearing?
I don't wear armor.
Okay, so yeah, it's just kind of a thud. And as you are doing so, you can from here you can kind of figure out where where Tesha is. You take her other hand. Okay, now Chris, you take Vestra's hand.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a perception check, Chris.
All right. Here's hoping that the dice like me. Okay.
Critical.
Chris knew where everybody was from the beginning.
Right. You just like reach out and take Vestra's hand. You just like have this sense of where it is. Okay, lead the way. And it is up to Lemon Zest to lead the way. Where are you heading?
Towards the upper apartments.
Okay. As you head in to find the stair, like just a stairwell that goes up, you actually, I don't know if this is ironic or not, but you actually start heading up the stairwell that earlier Aster and Barlow had headed down. So if this were a TV show, people would be like, hee 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 hee. And as you head up that staircase, hi, what do you want? As you head up that staircase, I feel like this is a perfect place to call it for the day. We're almost at time, and depending on what happens, things could go long. So let's call it here. Why don't we do a round of outros? Because I'm sure that there are things that you are all doing that you want to tell the world about, right?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Shadow, you've got something big tonight.
Yeah. I don't know who wanted to go first, but yeah, tonight, Roll D5, we're continuing our Pride Charity Month stream with our second stream of the month, where I'll be running a game of Bewitched. We're just a bunch of bi-plus witches trying to use our magic to find the lost member of our found family.
That's adorable.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. But yeah, you could donate for chaos, or to help out people, or to get yourself some cool things. You know,
those two things, chaos or helping people.
Yeah, that's it. Those are the only paths.
Love it. Yeah, head over to twitch.tv roll /ROLE_D5 and give them a follow if you don't already, because awesome stuff going on over there. Not all the time, but every time there's something going on.
All the time, 24/7. It's
That's
just
right.
party. Yeah.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Anything else? Anyone got fun stuff?
On Friday, I'm going to be on Lost Caravan again, playing Outgunned, an assassin RPG.
That's just Lost Caravan, one word, right? Like no weird umlauts or...
It's / Lost Caravan RPG.
RPG, gotcha.
Let me make sure. Twitch.
That is it. I clicked on my link.
Lost Caravan RPG.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's on Friday at what time?
Oh, it took me to a completely different. Friday at 7 Central.
Okay, nice. Adela?
Oh gosh. Well, usual kid-related things at bellabkids.com, and currently making a blanket for my daughter to match her little baby dolls.
Nice,
That's
nice.
about it. Nothing is fancy.
I love it. Nick, I saw you shake your head, but just to verify you're shaking your head about the question, is there anything that you have coming up that you want to share?
Nope, not really.
Okay.
Nothing.
Still head over and follow Mick's channel at Micktastic, Miktastic.
Mhm.
Okay, not Tik. It's been a minute since I can remember seeing it. Because you do stream, and you stream fun games and stuff. I haven't seen any pottery throwing in a while.
Yeah, I'm still working on that, like trying to get a space set up.
Gotcha. Oh, hello, Jay they. We've got raiders, all of the raiders. Thanks, Catchy Cantrips, for raiding. Let's give you a shout out. It's funny that you're raiding because we're just wrapping up.
And maybe raiding somebody else.
Right?
Yeah, we go on a raid train.
Raid train.
Choo choo.
Look at all the first time chatters. Thank you so much. We were just doing our outros, but if you want, give the channel a follow and you can see all the fun stuff we have coming up. Also, make sure you follow all these wonderful people. There are their socials. Choo choo. Let's see who we're gonna train on over to. Who's playing something fun? Oh, Onyx Path is streaming right now. I never get to... Mika is here!
I am here.
Every Wednesday.
We're here Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern for this game of For the Hoard of the Dragon Queen, our flip on the published adventure Tyranny of Dragons, as they are playing the cultists and not the heroes, but they're heroes in their own mind, right? Or their own right.
Yeah, we're definitely the heroes of the cult. Yeah, we
That's right.
are the bestest heroes.
Maybe heroes to each other. We're
right.
heroes to each other. It's about friendship.
You are all some amazing found family. I love it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. But we're going to pick it up next week. Thanks for joining us. And we're going to head over and raid. And we will see you next time.